It never occurred to me, whether it was back when I was on the set of the first Predator or really since then, that the Predator would come back into my life in some way. It was only when I was talking to my friend Fred Decker, my co-writer, and I felt like I was feeling a little old, I remember. You know. And we decided it might be kind of fun to just do a playful movie where we could sort of gather all the things that we loved about what the 80s did so well. Before there was the giant barrage of CGI effects. You know, we have CG in this movie, but it's different. It still feels real. We tried to make it feel like it's really happening in front of you. There's no orange skies and yellow moons and, 10-minute camera moves. We tried to shoot it shot, reverse shot, as though it were an 80s war film that just happened to have a monster in it. So that was our concept, I think. It didn't really occur to us that we would be making that movie, but when it came time to do so, we kind of thought backwards and thought, let's go back in style to try to get the same kind of energy and joy out of this that we did with the original. Well, we always imagined on Predator World that, they can't all just be wearing tribal outfits with nets and shields and spears swinging from trees. They're not all just primitive hunters. They build giant spaceships. So we imagined on Predator World that there was all kinds of different types. There's a class that is involved with the science, and the warrior class, and then there's one class we imagined that maybe was very angry at Earth, that we had sort of bested them, not even once, but twice or 3 times, and that they would try to get back by cheating, maybe. Because if you imagine the upgraded Predator, what that sort of is a form of roiding. It's like Lance Armstrong if he had DNA from creatures around the galaxy, so the different Predators, that was one thing. The other thing we wanted to do was to get a different group of guys that was maybe not so muscle-bound, maybe not quite as slick or professional like the sort of high-class special ops, infantry, but more like guys who were more marginalized or misfits and had forgotten that they were good at what they do and had to be reminded of that. That's what we wanted. And the misfit concept, that was pretty important to us. Even the little boy with autism or the female scientist who's sort of misanthropic and doesn't quite know how to relate, likes animals more than people. That was kind of our idea, was to just track a different group. Because every time you see a Predator movie, it's all about the new group. Who's he hunting this time? He's come back. It's not even the same Predator. It's a different Predator every time. But who's he hunting this time? And that's what makes it fun, I think, is to see who gets caught up in the swirl this time. I'm distressed by the extent to which, in the pursuit of a 4-quadrant popularity, so many pictures nowadays, so many studios demand that they appeal to everybody and they make them PG, and that requires a certain sanding off of all the sharp edges. And what I love about the 80s was the sharp edges. So, there's something to be said for the fact that if you go to see the Predator, you're not supposed to be under 17. You're supposed to be an adult. So we're allowed to be a little rougher. Now, Doc Savage, unfortunately, looks like it has stalled. There was a resistance to the period aspect of it, setting it in the 30s. And I don't want to make it unless it's set in the 30s.